Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 126. Altai here, joined by
Homer. As always, we have a great podcast for you guys this week. A lot of fun discussions. And this week, we're going to start with a kind of a charged discussion on the weekly raid. So take it away, Altai. It's a good one. All
right, this is a good one, and it did come up in the pregame a little bit. So it's a very generic question here. Are PC MMORPGs dead? Got a sub, so hopefully he says they're not dead, but we'll see. As we know, the genre has been in a bit of a glut. If you do a simple Google trend search for the term MMORPG, I took a little screenshot here, you can see that interest peaked sometime in 2009 and has been declining ever since. It is now far lower than it was back in 2004, and that's the year World of Warcraft came out. So what do you think, Amar? Is it dead? Do we got a chance here? What's going on?
I don't think it's dead, but it does say something about the industry quite a bit when you have the biggest MMORPG news of the year being a World of Warcraft Classic server relaunch. Right, like one of the biggest news we've had this year, and probably something I'm most hyped for is now this World of Warcraft Classic server, a 2004 MMORPG that's literally just launching an old version of the game. It has people really hyped over it again. But I think the PC numbers are definitely not encouraging. I don't think that's why I always when people say MMORPGs are dead, I say you're wrong. They're not dead. They're in this big glut here in the West, right? And if you look at it, the mobile as well, it's definitely not dead at all. It's probably increasing. But I do think PC MMORPGs here in the West are definitely in decline. But I'm not quite ready to call them dead just yet.
But remember, that's what we're talking about. PC MMORPGs. So yeah, you're correct. A lot of mobile MMORPGs are killing it right now. We got games like Lineage 2 Revolution, which we did play together on a Grindfest several weeks ago. That game is killing it. They're making, hundreds of millions of dollars, banking that money. Lineage M, which is a mobile version of the classic Lineage 1, is also doing very well in Korea. So the genre as a whole is just fine. It's just fine, boys. But the problem, I feel, is with this segment that we grew up in, which is the PC MMORPG. And I do think it's terminally ill, Omar, I gotta say.
Terminally ill. All right. Look, it's in decline, but let's step back and try to look at this a bit objectively, right? We've had a couple of big game launches. We've had Black Desert Online, right? And that's not like a super old game. I mean, it's taken the West by storm as well. I mean, it's consistently over 10,000 players on Steam. Those numbers are nothing to laugh at. Maybe it's not a PUBG, it's not a Dota 2, it's not a CS:GO. But I don't think it's fair to say it's dead when you have these games still launching. We've had a pretty big reveal this week for a brand new, I don't want to say AAA MMORPG, but like,
no way.
I hate the word AAA. It's the stupidest word ever. But like, we've seen so many crap Korean games launching, right? Crap Korean and Chinese MMORPGs launching, which are low budget. Like Tartaros Online just launched this like 2 weeks ago, and it's like this really low budget game. But then you've had Air. I mean, show off the trailer for Air.
I would love to. So this game was just announced a few days ago. I do want to play the trailer a little. It's a long one, and we can talk a little bit about it afterwards. But first, I do want to play it for a minute or two here, guys. So please enjoy this level. I will turn the sound up as well.
We'll talk a bit through that as well, right? Can we do that?
Okay, now I'll mute it then. Sure, we can just talk while this is going.
I think Air looks really cool, and this is not a cheap MMORPG. It clearly looks like the developer Bluehole is spending money on this. Like this is not a shuffleware game. They're going to spend millions and millions of dollars on this game. So it shows that these Korean companies are still willing to invest in MMORPGs. And if the case was that they were dead, they wouldn't do it anymore. Obviously, mobile kind of arose and is taking away a lot of dollars away from PC MMORPG development. But the fact that we're still getting new announcements and new projects like Air shows us that nobody thinks it's dead. It might be a smaller market, but I don't think it's dead. And Air and Black Desert Online are good examples of why it's not quite dead just yet.
I honestly was super hyped about Air. I love the steampunk aesthetic, but I do have some big worries. First of all, I love this trailer. This trailer is literally 5 minutes of like almost gameplay, right? Basically gameplay. And so many reveal trailers these days are just nonsense CGI, like, cinematic style with no gameplay. So props on them for actually showing a game. It's going to be in closed beta testing first half of 2018. So this is not years away. It's coming out. It's going to be playable by us here in the West in, a few short months. But with that said, I don't think this kind of counters my point that the PC genre for MMORPGs is in terminal decline. This game is being made on Unreal 3.
Okay, that's a bit questionable, but that probably goes back to the engine that they're most familiar with. This might be like a studio issue. Like maybe the developers are very comfortable with Unreal 3. and they feel they can accomplish
No,
what they
they
want
can't.
on
They
Unreal
can't.
3.
A lot of you guys have been talking about the optimization issues in this trailer. Guess what? Because it's Unreal 3, those optimization issues are not going away. Okay, Unreal 3 is the same engine that Bluehole used for Terra back in 2011.
That's so bizarre.
The engine they're using is literally a whole console generation ago. Okay, like it doesn't make any sense. It's really unfortunate, but there it is. There
must be a reason they're using Unreal 3.
I don't know. They're just bad.
I feel like we gotta get an interview set with Bluehole. Like, why are you still using Unreal 3? It's been like 6 years, 7 years.
It's because they started development on this game several years ago, probably. Because if they just with the gameplay we're seeing now, there's no way they started working, anytime recently, right? This reveal is pretty late into the process for once in terms of development.
So you made a good point as well. That Terra was an unoptimized, horrible mess when it launched, and honestly, Terra remained unoptimized for a long time. And I think we've all realized how important optimization is. And speaking of, other big MMORPG launches of recent times, Bless, it was a complete failure, obviously. They spent over $60 million on Bless. But Bless is launching in the West in 2018. So that game, again, they didn't give up on it completely. Another, NeoWiz is still spending money making Bless, and it's going to launch here in the West as well. So that kind of shows there's still a market as well. But we've seen how badly a game will do if it's unoptimized. Bless was I thought it was a pretty fun game, actually. My biggest concern with Bless was that it was unplayably unoptimized, which is bizarre because they released a game that was unplayable. And then now we're seeing the Ascent Infinite Realm video, which the game looks cool. It's got the steampunk vibe to it. It's got these massive open areas. It looks neat. But the fact that you mentioned it's on Unreal 3 and the fact that even the trailer stutters, like the video they captured for their global reveal trailer that's supposed to build up hype and it's supposed to be epic, has really stuttery low FPS drops. And like, what's going on? Like, how does it happen? Like, you just remake the trailer. Like, make sure what you capture isn't like unoptimized nonsense. I don't know why they put that trailer together and they left bits of pieces of it that just were unoptimized.
Okay, so someone asked.
They can fix that.
Someone asked why they're not using the BDO engine, and it's important to realize, guys, this game is being developed by Bluehole. It is being published in America and Europe by Kakao Games. So Kakao Games, the guys that made the guys developing BDO, are not the guys developing Ascent Infinite Realm. They're just publishing it here in the West. So they can't use the BDO engine. They don't own that. They don't have the rights to it.
And the more we look at these, actually, like, we've seen a lot of MMORPGs over the years. I mean, this might be a side discussion later. I feel like if you make your own engine from scratch, I feel like it does mean a lot. Like, so many games we've seen just slap on Unreal or Unity ends up being like unoptimized and have their own problems. Like, I feel like a lot of games that are really successful kind of use their own engines as well, and it kind of shows. Like, the BDO engine I thought was pretty solid. Like, it runs really well. I mean, you only render so far in front of you, but I thought it was really, really smooth. Like, I have a top tier PC, and when I played Terra, I would lag. Like, lagging in Terra in like 2016, 2017 is insane. The game is old as hell, but I would still lag on that game. And certain other newer games, I would still just lag in because it's unoptimized Unreal. Whereas when you play a game with its own engine, usually it just runs way better. And that fluidity is unbelievably important.
Oh yeah. It's funny that to wrap it back to the weekly raid, guys. There's so many mobile MMORPGs being announced recently, releasing recently, that are being powered by Unreal 4. So oftentimes we're seeing the mobile MMORPGs on a newer engine, a newer version of the same engine, actually. So it just shows you where the forward thinking is in the industry.
Also, I mean, back to the weekly raid for a moment. You're saying, our PC MMORPG is dead, right? Your argument that PC MMORPGs are dead kind of lies in the fact that
terminal decline. So we're not dead yet, but dead.
In terminal decline.
Yeah.
Rest on the fact that mobile games are rising, correct? And it's displacing it.
Well, first off, 5-month sub by Eugens. Thank you so much. Resub there. Is on mobile increasing. No, not just that. So I said there's two flanks here. So from the right, bam, we got mobile coming in, right? And on the left, bam, we got big publishers ditching MMORPGs. After WoW came out, every big Western publisher, whether it was EA, they wanted to make an MMORPG because they thought, well, that's where the money is. Like this game is huge. But since then, they've shied away from those big projects. So what we're seeing instead are ports from Asia, and we're seeing indie Kickstarter games. We're not seeing big studios going after this market.
Yes and no. The problem is they all got burnt trying to copy
Okay, yeah.
the existing games. Also, if you look at it, that's like saying MOBAs are dead because like literally everyone and their mother released the MOBA. EA released their own MOBA. Like there's been countless MOBAs that tried copying League of Legends and Dota, and they've all failed. We've had the DC Universe one, the DC one as well, Infinity Crisis. There's been so many MOBAs, and they've all failed because they just tried copying Dota. We've been through that phase with World of Warcraft clones. That doesn't mean the genre is dead.
Whoa.
Again, we still see new games.
Are we seeing new games in the MOBA? No, I would say the MOBA is in decline as well. I mean, you still got League that's doing, but League has sucked all the oxygen. There is no MOBA.
League is growing.
There is no MOBA.
How can you say MOBAs are dead when League is adding more active players every year?
Because my point is, League is growing. There's no such thing as a MOBA genre. There's just League of Legends. Okay.
But if League is growing and League is a MOBA, it's growing the genre.
League is not a MOBA. It is the MOBA. It is like there's no point to having a genre specific tag when there's only one game that's still growing in the whole.
Dota 2 is a MOBA, but it's not growing.
It's shrinking. Yeah.
But it's still got hundreds of thousands of concurrent users. It's like 1/10 the size of League, maybe, but it's still a big game. It's one of the biggest PC games in the world.
It's in decline. It's in decline.
Sure, but my point is that just because one game dominates, also that may not apply for World of Warcraft or MMORPGs because World of Warcraft is not growing anymore. Maybe they haven't touched it.
Then I would argue
in a while.
Exactly. I would argue the MOBA genre is probably even more dead than MMORPGs at this point.
But my point,
I mean,
it's MMORPGs. In the West, I would say are definitely in a downward slope right now. However, it's honestly the biggest. I think one of the biggest reasons is we've had no innovation. Let's be real. Like there's been almost no innovation in MMORPG games since how long? Like forever.
Yeah,
They're basically just reskinned World of Warcraft. Like there's been nothing fundamentally different at all. And if you look at games like Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, EverQuest, like this was when the genre was new. People are trying out new things. Like it's weird that there's been so little new stuff. Like I was playing Final Fantasy 14 the other night. I like that game a lot. But like I'm doing some dungeons for my leveling roulettes and stuff, and like there's like no patrol mobs even. Like when you run through a dungeon, there's no patrol mobs. Like that was like we've had that in EverQuest, in Dark Age of Camelot. I think World of Warcraft had patrol mobs as well.
Yeah.
Like why not? Like there's so little innovation. There might be one or two dungeons in the whole game that have patrol mobs, by the way, but like 90%, 99% of dungeons don't have it. Well, there's like so little innovation in MMORPGs as a whole. You've had literally nothing new.
I mean, think of it this way, okay? So, like I said, Terra came out in 2011, and it was on Unreal 3. We have Air, Ascent, Infinite Realm, coming out in 2018. That's a 7-year gap, right? Yeah. Now, if I play you a trailer for Terra and a trailer for Ascent, Infinite Air, the games are they look somewhat similar. You know, in fact, my girlfriend walked by when I was playing it this morning, and he said, "Oh, is that Terra?" Because she used to play Terra. Like, is this like an update for Terra? I'm like, no, it's a different game by the same studio. And now compare that to Ultima Online, which came out in 1998. I'm gonna play a trailer. I'm gonna play a video here. So this game 1998, Ultima Online came out, guys, and this is what it looks like. So imagine this now. So this is 2000. It was 1998. Now 6 years later, this came out. World of Warcraft. Now look how different these two are, right? Now that's a 6-year gap between these two games. That's shorter than the gap between Terra and Ascent, Infinite Realm.
That's actually pretty amazing. Going from the 2D Ultima Online to Terra and World of Warcraft, like there's an enormous gap over there between how fast, and that's why I think captured people's imaginations, right? With MMORPGs, this virtual living world became like going from this 2D Ultima Online look to World of Warcraft to Terra and stuff. The world just felt so much more alive. The problem with MMORPGs, there's been no innovation. Somebody said in the chat, no matter what MMORPGs, will be killing boars from non-existent livers, right? Or like boar blood vials and shit, right? And it's really unfortunate that we've had no innovation there. There are a couple of studios trying to do shit. There's, obviously Star Citizen is trying to change the genre, but there are two. I don't want to go into that discussion, but like you also have the other crowdfunding game. What's it called? Chronicles of Valeria. Like at least their design is something different. Like they're trying to do something different. I don't think either game will actually succeed because I don't think either game will ever come out. But at least they're trying something different. We haven't seen anything different from bigger studios who've invested in this genre, and all the Korean studios that are doing this, we still get a new anime MMORPG every year. Like the guys over at that make Aura Kingdom, Twin Saga, the X Legend guys, they just churn out a brand new anime MMORPG every year and it's the same shit over and over again. Like those games are kind of fun, but there's nothing new. How could the genre grow when all we have are WoW clones and low budget Korean nonsense games? some of those games are fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you could play Soul Worker and have a lot of fun with it. You can have fun with closers, but you cannot tell me that closers is even remotely innovative. There's literally nothing original about closers. And that game just launched into, I think, closed beta this last week, which actually is another fun discussion of nonsense about charging money for closed beta. But closers has 0 new innovative features. None. If you like, you could actually mistake closers for like a dozen other games and have the same DFO style gameplay, whether it's Dragon Nest, DFO, Vindictus, Soul Worker Online. There are at least 50 games that have the exact same gameplay as closers. So
yeah, I mean,
games like that aren't going to push the genre forward.
No,
it is so obvious.
We should make a prediction. When do we think closers will close down?
I don't think it'll do well. Honestly, like, the game isn't awful, but like, the thing is, it literally offers nothing new. Like, I know people might like closers out there. I mean, there's some cool characters, but like, nothing new. Literally, I've played that before. You've played any game like closer. You've played closers. And MMORPGs aren't supposed to be like that.
Your little rant there actually reminded me of Asta Online, which closed again. I think we mentioned it last week. But the funny thing is, this game Asta was built as the WoW of the East. You know, it's supposed to be this big game. It came out in like 2000, I believe, 16 in the West, and immediately shut down twice now.
Yeah, rip Asta.
I think it lasted. It came out in April of this year, guys, and now it's closing in December. So how many months is that? May, June, July.
Less than a year.
Yeah,
right?
8 months.
Less than a year.
8-month shelf life on Asta Online, guys.
All right, you want to talk about some hype, actually, though? Like, we've been a little negative here with the genre. Here's my defense of the genre as well. There is still hope. There are games like Period Chronicles. We talked about this in the past, right? Period Chronicles seems to at least be doing something different, or at least trying to do something different. And the fact that it's not some random indie studio and they're backed by Nexon gives me hope that this game might actually happen, right? I mean, the game's been delayed and it hasn't come out yet.
I don't know. It's not looking too good for it.
There's been nothing on Period Chronicles in some time, right? But at least when I saw that trailer and I saw what they're trying to do, I'm like, holy shit! Like, here's an MMORPG that's not just copying every other game. And this is probably one of my most hyped like Korean or foreign game releases like in America. Like, eventually, like, they're actually trying to do something different, and it looks nice. I love the graphics. I like the art style a lot. It looks really cool. Like, it's got this like maybe like Mabinogi style graphics as well, but like just really fucking sharp. Speaking of Mabinogi as well, was an MMORPG like no other. Like, at least I feel like there are MMORPGs that were actually different. No, right? But they carved their own
that's
niche.
a very old game, Mabinogi more. So it's not anytime recently.
It's not recently, right? But it is like we did get some new games, but like so many of the big budget games and all the big studios did nothing but pour their money into WoW clones, and all we got were shitty WoW clones. Why would you play a WoW clone when you play WoW?
Do you know when Mabinogi came out, guys?
That's an old one too. What, 2005?
It came out in 2004, before World of Warcraft in Korea. So that's a very old game, yeah.
And it's different, at least, you know. Mabinogi Mobile might do well as well, but that's not coming out for a while. But look at this trailer. Like, I want to play Period Chronicles. Like, that's a game I actually am looking forward to play. And I know it's not going to be just another WoW clone, you know, with the user-created content and stuff like that. I've been saying for a long time, I think the next big MMORPG, what will push the genre forward will be some kind of player-created content, like some built-in emphasis on that. Because, like, it almost feels like, if you compare it to, like, the internet days, right? The term Web 1.0, Web 2.0 Web 1.0 was always like a webmaster made a website and put content on it, right? Like your typical website. Web 2.0 is stuff like Reddit, is stuff like Facebook, is like Twitter, where you build a platform and users create the content, right? Mm-hmm. And we've never had, all our MMORPGs are basically MMORPG 1.0 in that reference.
Here we go, boys. 2.0 update coming.
And we know that 2.0 works. We know it works because it's worked for the internet, right? And not only that, it's worked for Warcraft 3. It's worked for StarCraft 1. Warcraft 3 custom maps, where players could actually create the content and maps, have led to the creation of multi-billion-dollar industries. It led to the creation of MOBAs. It led to the popularization of tower defenses. The amount of creative energy and shit that came out of Warcraft 3 is mind-boggling. And what's unbelievable to me is that Blizzard dropped the ball. They didn't monetize that at all. They could have created a new game that was just a platform, because Warcraft 3 as an RTS was nowhere near as successful as what Warcraft 3 was as a platform for creativity, as a platform for custom maps. Like, the fact that Blizzard doesn't own Dota is remarkable. They really dropped the ball on that as well. Yeah. But if they just made a game that was standalone. Fuck the RTS element. Fuck all that other shit. Make it a map maker. Make like an RPG maker, right? This game engine that's literally just lets players unleash their creativity.
Well,
And you didn't have to be some hardcore programmer to make maps on Warcraft 3. It's almost like RPG maker. It's kind of made easy. So 2.0 for we need an MMORPG 2.0. I mean, it's weird that nobody saw it with Warcraft 3. But if a company makes a game that allows players to make their own shit for other players, not only is it cheaper to develop, you don't have to keep making new expansions. Like, you just add tools and let players make their own content, and you kind of set up how they can do it, right? That's going to be the next innovation in MMORPGs. And I don't know if it's ever when it's going to happen, but whoever does it well, I think is going to make a killing. And it's going to kill WoW, it's going to kill everything else.
I think it's very tough to do what you're saying in this genre. So what you're saying still works. You know, the Battle Royale, for example, came out of a mod for a tactical shooter, Arma. So what you're saying is still there. You know, the mod, you know, games with custom map editors spawning new games and genres is still there, but I just don't know if it can translate to the MMORPG genre. That seems to be the
we've seen Legends of Aria kind of try it, but again, now it used to be called Shards Online. Now it's Legends of Aria. It almost feels like they really doubled down their single player content though, which kind of upsets me because the goal of Legends of Aria / Shards Online from the get-go was that they kind of provide these server tool sets and they allow their players to create their own shards. And each shard was run by other players. They build their own world within that shard, right? So again, it lets players unleash their creative energy. But then they realized this was always kind of a niche game. It was never very big. And then they kind of pivoted to a more traditional MMORPG, right? So they went with they changed the name to Legends of Aria, and they increased the world size by like 5-10 times or something crazy. And they added all this content that they've made. But this is what's weird. I don't think the development team in Legends of Aria could possibly create this game that can compete with WoW in terms of content. In a theme park experience, you're never going to beat WoW. You're never going to beat Final Fantasy 14. That's why you have to double down, not on just trying to make theme park shit. You have to double down on giving players the tools to make their own games. That's the only way, especially a smaller studio, will ever compete with the big theme park boys. So that's what I don't know why they went that route. I feel like what I was most excited about Shards Online was the whole player-created community tools. That was the most interesting part. And they doubled down on the wrong feature, I think.
You know, I think you might be right. I really haven't followed this in a long time, but you know, actually, you know what's funny, guys? If you go to the official Legends of Aria YouTube channel, Citadel Studios, right? I'm watching their community roundtable.
Yeah.
And their own game is flagged as Guild Wars 2 by YouTube.
That is hilarious. I love it. I love it. The official video that they put up is YouTube thinks it's Guild Wars 2. That's funny.
That is hilarious.
And somebody mentioned that Neverwinter does have the player-created dungeons, and honestly, that's my favorite part of Neverwinter by far. I had so much fun with the player-created content there. You basically, players can make their own adventures, their own dungeons, their own storytelling, and I thought that was the most fun part. People made some really cool stories, really cool dungeons, and it was really neat. I thought it was way cooler than a lot of the stuff that Cryptic made. But you have to that has to be the emphasis, I think. You have to build your game around that concept. And I think the first game that does not just an add-on tacky feature, you can't just slap it on and be a thing. I think that has to be the core gameplay experience. We have to have an MMORPG where developers just build the sandbox, they build a platform, right? Enough, and then players do everything else. And if that happens, that's going to push the genre forward, IMO. And who knows when that's going to happen?
Well, there's a new game by the guys making Second Life that I've heard about a long time ago. It's called Sansar. It's still in development. But basically, it's supposed to. The way I see it is Second Life 2.0, basically.
Second Life had the worst garbage interface I've ever seen in my life. I could not design a worse interface if you paid me to design it. Like if you say, listen, make the worst imaginable interface, I could not outdo Second Life. That game is unplayably bad interface. It's awful.
Right, but yeah, I mean 2.0 apparently is coming out. Sunsar. It's got the whole, custom. It's gonna have the same spiel as Second Life, I think. People can make their own little areas. They can make their own mini games.
But that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That's such a cool concept. Like, what you can do in Second Life is remarkable. You can make your own mini games and shit. You can make your own worlds. Like people were like, but it's so unapproachable to the average person because the interface is garbage. I think if you do a Second Life with an easier interface, a much easier streamlined interface, that could be huge. I mean, let's be real. Like, one of the most important aspects, and one of the biggest aspects of online, of the internet is chat. Discord, Twitter.
Facebook. All right.
People go on the internet to chat with their friends. Like, let's be real. Like, I know people that log into Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, just to chat with their friends. Like the game is the background, right? The game exists there kind of to like bring you all together. Like people just go online to play with their friends, talk to their friends. And that's why I think especially a game like Second Life with just a better interface and easier content creation tools will do really well. I mean, chat has been like the most successful aspect of the internet, period. So that's why the core gameplay, I think, is not that important. Because I do agree with you that making core combat mechanics and stuff may be very difficult on a player-created content
I guess
level.
I'm just more pessimistic than you. I wonder where you guys in the audience stand, but I am a perennial pessimist, guys.
Look, Viat just said something. I can't believe I forgot this. Sounds like fucking Roblox. Look at Roblox and Minecraft. The amazing success of those games. Roblox actually took the concept I was talking about gaming 2.0, MMORPG 2.0. They took the Warcraft 3 model and they basically built a platform and let all their players create content for it. Roblox remains one of the most popular games in the world today.
I agree. I'm not but here's the thing. Roblox came out in 2006, baby. So my problem is with the future, not the past. I think Roblox is an excellent game.
Roblox is growing.
Oh, I agree. It's a great game. Minecraft is growing. There's a lot of old games like GT. There's a lot of. But my problem is 2017 plus. Okay, that's what I'm looking at.
I think someone's gonna figure it out on the PC front. Whether it's Period Chronicles, whether somebody else remains to be said, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, guys. I got to shit on this Period Chronicles parade, boys. Do you guys know when Period Chronicles was first announced?
I don't know.
Anyone have an idea? Anyone take a guess? Anyone take a guess?
2013.
2012. 2012.
Holy shit!
Dad, this game was announced 5 years ago, and by the way, the announcement trailer was pretty much the same thing that we're seeing now. Here, I'll show you guys the 2014 trailer here. But this game, guys, is it's been 5 years. I don't know, but we will see. We will have an answer soon. Omar, did you know in 2 more days, G-Star starts in Korea, which is the biggest Korean.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. So if Period Chronicles is at G-Star 2017,
it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be.
It's not gonna be.
Nope. I already looked at Nixon's lineup and it's not on that list, so we're not gonna hear anything about Period Chronicles
okay,
for
guys.
a while.
All right, if you're watching, guys, Period Chronicles is dead. I'm calling it. All right, I gotta call it. I mean, 5 years ago they announced it, and it's not even gonna be announced. It's not even gonna make an appearance at G-Star. I don't know.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's not gonna make it there. I'm curious. We should hopefully. I'm hoping to see some big PC MMORPGs at G-Star. Again, that's the premier event of the year where all the Korean developers show off what they're working on. So we'll have probably a lot of big news announcements this week on MMOs.com, as on the weekly recap as well. So next week's weekly recap should be pretty spicy.
Oh yeah.
So keep your eyes.
A lot of good stuff coming out this weekend from G-Star.
Take a look at the graph I sent you on the podcast chat, by the way.
Sure.
This is probably the most depressing and sad state of affairs for PC MMORPGs. And look, I'm optimistic. I think we're on a downslope, but I don't think it's terminal. I think there'll be a rebound eventually if we get some new innovations. But this chart is very depressing as a PC gamer, as a PC MMO gamer.
All right, want to explain what's going on in this chart here?
All right. This chart is from NCSoft's latest quarterly earnings, and they show where they make their money. So if you look at the Lineage 2, Aeon, Blade & Soul, Guild Wars 2, you can see how much money they make from those games. And if you add up all the money they make from basically every category, every chart in this screen, besides mobile games, you get about 110 million US dollars. The numbers are in billions of Korean won. It's obviously confusing, right? But I'll translate the US dollars for you guys. So NCSoft makes $110 million from Lineage 2, Aeon, Blade & Soul, and Guild Wars 2 on the PC. These are their marquee franchises. These are the games that NCSoft was built on, right? A lot of these franchises. But then if you look at their mobile game revenue, they make about $500 million from mobile game revenue. And look at the growth from 3Q, 4Q, from like less than a year and a half ago, they had basically negligible mobile game revenues, basically zero. And it went from basically zero to $500 million in the span of a year and a half. That's 5 times as much money as NCSoft makes off of all of their PC games, which have been running forever. Guild Wars 2 just launched a new expansion. Haha, it doesn't matter. If you look at Guild Wars 2, from 2Q17 to 3Q17 with the launch of Path of Fire, oh wow, they made an extra $5 million for that quarter, which is chump change to the $500 million they made in 3 months on their mobile games. And basically, you could say mobile games includes a lot more than those 5 games, but basically all that money comes from 2 games. Lineage 2 Revolution and Lineage M is basically all of that revenue. So if you're NCSoft and you're on the board of directors and somebody says, yo, I have a great idea. We should make a brand new PC MMORPG. Like, you should get like hung if you should get hanged if you said that, because they would show you this chart and be like, "Are you retarded? Look where all the money comes from, and you want to make another game like Lineage 2 on this chart or Blade and Soul on this chart, Guild Wars? Why would you ever do that? All the money's in mobile." So I do think mobile is going to steal, or rather, get allocated a lot more of the development budget, which is very unfortunate because, we're not going to see too many newer PC MMORPGs until something changes.
Definitely. I think to sum up what I think of the future of gaming, just imagine 3 red gems combining and disappearing and reappearing over and over again. That is the future, boys.
That's the future of gaming?
Yes. It's bejeweled clones everywhere.
Look, but this kind of brings us to a broader discussion as well, which I'm curious what you think about. Because ultimately, I think the biggest argument against PC MMORPGs is mobile. Mobile is killing it. I don't think, PC MMORPGs itself are necessarily that. I think mobile is taking away a big market share. But why isn't mobile necessarily killing other games in the PC genre? Like, we've had new games on PC, like Overwatch, for example. Blizzard is not a dumb company. They could have made Overwatch on mobile. They could have made a mobile shooter, right? But they didn't. They chose to make a PC shooter.
Okay,
I think
what you're describing the order of events. I don't think any genre is immune to mobile. For example, all the big Chinese companies, right? When they all announced their PUBG clone, their Battle Royale clone, it was NetEase announced one, Tencent announced one, but everything that got announced was a mobile game. So mobile version of PUBG. So I don't think other genres are immune. It's just MMORPGs kind of went first, and the reason for that, I believe, is because MMORPGs have been less Twitch dependent. So what I mean by that is the controls matter less in an MMORPG than they do in a shooter, for example. So it translates easier to mobile.
That's true. I think somebody mentioning why mobile is successful too, as well as accessibility. Obviously, everyone's got a smartphone. I mean, think about this as well. Think about all your friends. I mean, I do want to say most of the people watching this podcast, most people here are generally they play PC games, right? And I would say we're the more hardcore. We probably have better PCs than average, right? If you think about your friends that have PCs, they probably are gaming on a garbage laptop that's like 7 years old. Let's be real. Like the average PC is going to be a 1366 by 768 resolution laptop, which, by the way, 1366 by 768 is the most popular resolution. It's the most common resolution. You're probably all on 1920 by 1080 who are watching this stream or listening to this podcast. Like, most of us are gamers on 1920 or higher. I'm on 2K.
I'm on 2K, baby.
So most people, your average gamer average PC gamer has a Duke tier PC.
If you have a laptop that's 17 whatever resolution, okay,
1366 by 768.
You're not a PC gamer. You can call yourself whatever you want. You're not a PC gamer.
Well, whatever.
You're borderline downs, but
whatever. But yeah, but if you look at the average person's smartphone, the average person's got at most like a 2-3 year phone at most, but their PC is like 7 years old. But the average phone is people upgrade their phones every year or every other year. Some people wait a lot longer. Most people have constantly updated phones, which I think is what's enabling mobile gaming as well.
Definitely. And look, I don't want to get to the Lootbox discussion too quickly if we're not done here.
Yeah, that's a fun discussion.
But here's the thing, guys. People want to blame EA or whatever, blame all these companies for the death of, hardcore gaming or like MMORPGs or whatever. Here's the problem. People who are gaming on 7-year-old laptops, okay, but then dropping 1K on the new iPhone, okay? You're the death of PC gaming. That's it. You're that's it. That's a problem. Not EA, not Blizzard. The guy who won't update his stupid ass HP laptop, but he doesn't mind, spending 1K on a phone.
I agree, definitely. And the average PC is really bad, and it does limit a lot what developers can do as well. They want to make their games run on every possible machine, and people have so many old machines. They got to kind of dumb down their game as well, visually and performance, everything.
But I mean, if you want to be a hardcore mobile gamer, there is some optimism for you. Razer has announced a phone. Well, what do you think of this? It's a hardcore gamer phone, bro.
The only cool thing about that Razer phone, by the way, is just it's got a high refresh rate. I think over 100 hertz, 144 hertz or something. That's kind of cool, but like, I don't think it's gonna do well. I don't know. I think it's gonna be kind of niche. But yeah, if mobile device gaming is everything on mobile. By the way, like all the app revenue, the app the money that Google and Apple make off of apps, like most of that comes from gaming. So phones are basically mobile gaming devices anyway. So I guess it's kind of smart to enter that market, but I don't know.
Here's a fun chart for you. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Amor. I'll link it to you in chat as well. This is Q3 2017 gross mobile game revenue worldwide. So the amount of money like mobile gaming has brought in worldwide has grown 26% year over year from last year's quarter 3. That's huge. 26% growth.
That's nuts. That's so much more than like the growth in PC gaming or anything.
Yeah. PC gaming actually is expected to shrink slightly this year, guys, and that includes revenue from PC gaming for microtransactions for free-to-play games and boxed retail copies. So
I want to mention one more thing in mobile before we talk about Overwatch and Lootbox. There's a fun controversy there, but if you look at this video, this is for Lineage 2 M. NCSoft made a lot of money off Lineage Mobile, right? And I don't want to mobile games aren't inherently bad, right? I think the problem is a lot of mobile games happen to be bad, I think. But I think you can capture an MMORPG essence on mobile if done correctly. I'm hoping to see that with RuneScape Mobile. And if you look at Lineage 2 Mobile, they're trying to capture and move. This actually is the right trailer. Maybe it might be the wrong trailer, but anyway, you can see some actual gameplay here as well. Like they want to capture. They actually want to make Lineage 2 port basically from PC to mobile, because Lineage 1 Mobile was literally just a direct port of the PC version. So if you can have Lineage 2, which is a seamless world MMORPG on mobile, that'd be pretty badass. And what's crazy is actually NCSoft said you basically need a Samsung Galaxy S8 or S9 to play this game. S9 is not even out yet, by the way.
That's funny.
They said you can't play this game on a shit phone.
Well, that's why you need the Razer phone, baby.
But this is why, the fact that people are upgrading their mobile phones so often allows mobile game developers to kind of always push the boundary on what they can do on mobile. Because people always have the latest phones. Mm-hmm. And if they make their game for the latest devices, they're not losing a big market because of that. So I feel like that game could do really well. And I'm hoping that, mobile games get better and they become more like real PC games instead of autoplay nonsense.
We'll see. I think, I don't know. I just don't know if the controls will allow the kind of free willing that the PC games allow. Who knows?
I mean, Lineage 2 is a pretty complex game, especially compared to mobile games, right? And if they want to port over Lineage 2 with their seamless world, with all their abilities and stuff, they have to do something innovative with the control scheme, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I think it's doable. It's not an insurmountable challenge. And I don't like the idea also of like maybe even like a gamepad attached to or some wireless gamepad. I know it destroys the portability of it, but who knows? It could happen. If you think about it, if you have a gamepad, it solves everything. Like it solves all your MMORPG woes. Look, I don't like gamepads for MMORPGs, period, personally. But people play and raid on Final Fantasy 14. They raid with PS4 controllers. It happens. They do it, and it's not impossible. People do it, and people in the high end do it as well. So if you have a companion device, whether it's a gamepad or something, that would fix the entire accessibility and control.
No. I don't want to see. I don't think. I don't think gamepads and phones are gonna go together, guys. I'm sorry.
Just plug in your keyboard and mouse to your phone, obviously. All right, I like that pistol. Good strat.
I think what you're gonna see before you see a controller is gonna be just how do I put this? Like moving your head, like your eyes, because you know how the new iPhone opens with your facial scan. Yeah. So if maybe you can blink or use your eyebrows like up and down. That's like you can control your guy that way.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Why?
You can blink by accident, and then you actually PK your friend.
No. It's gotta be like a deliberate 1 second blink. So it's not something you can do automatically.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like you can blink by accident automatically, right?
For a second, like I hold it down.
You get a sneeze coming on. You go, and then you just PK
whatever. Your guy will swing once. Who cares? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you swing and kill your friend.
What?
The guards kill you. Questionable idea. I mean, I'm optimistic. Look, I'm optimistic that some of the mobile games we'll get in the future will be better, though. I mean, Black Desert looks pretty cool as well. Actually, I have to show you one last mobile thing before we move on.
Okay, one more mobile thing. I love mobile, baby.
All right, and this is actually something to be hyped about, okay? Even for PC gamers, because look, I agree with most of you guys that mobile is kind of trash. There's no surprise there for me. But if you look at the Black Desert Mobile, it looks really cool, right? Black Desert Mobile looks awesome. And I'm hoping it is awesome, but until it's out yet, I can't judge that. But first, look at the character creation trailer, which is the second video in what I just linked to you. And show that to the stream.
All right, I will show it to the
stream. By the way, we've seen character creation on Lineage 2 Revolution. I've seen it in countless mobile games. They're fucking trash. Look at the character creation in Black Desert Mobile.
Wow.
This is on a mobile client.
It's very similar to the PC version. I mean, not as detailed, but it's pretty good.
There's so much you can do there. Yeah. Look at this. That's remarkable. I can't believe a big budget game like, Lineage 2 Revolution had such trash tier. You could choose like 3 hair colors and that's it. That's it. That's all the customization you'll ever get in Lineage 2 Revolution. And if you look at most mobile games, you get no customization. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. So these guys are at least, there's some detail in Black Desert Mobile. You know, they're doing something.
Oh, look at this. Look at this this part of the video here where you see some person holding a phone.
Yeah.
Playing the game.
Isn't that kind of cool though? Like, this kind of gives me hope that mobile may not be the same trash that we're used to. You know, mobile is synonymous with like, oh my god, turn this off for most of us. You know, especially mobile MMORPGs rather, because I do say some mobile games can be fun, but mobile MMORPGs for me have been very disappointing lately. Like, everything I've tried has been pretty disappointing.
Yeah, someone in chat just asked what you know. That's all very nice with the character creation, but what will it look like in game? You know, with the So here's a little.
Look at the second video.
Yeah, here's a short clip of actual gameplay. It does obviously you can't really see the detail that well, but
what it requires to swing, like what the actual mechanics are like, but you can see like killing shit, you know.
Yeah.
But this tells me too that they at least tried. Like, the developers at Pearl Abyss were thinking, okay, look, we want to make a mobile game, but we don't want to make the same shit everyone else is doing. So the fact that they put the detail in the character creation, when every other mobile studio has zero appearance customization, it kind of shows that they're trying to capture some of the PC magic, some of the magic that makes Black Desert work on PC on mobile. And if they have that mentality going into it, I think it could be really cool.
You know what the thing? I wonder if BDO Mobile is on their custom engine or not. I think it should be, right? Because if it's on the custom engine that Pearl Abyss made, at least it has a chance. Because I feel like the Lineage 2 Revolution is really hampered by the Unreal Engine. You know, that's why you have such shitty character creation and stuff.
Metal segment, a good point. I can go for a Diablo-like mobile BDO ARPG. Yeah, I could too. That sounds pretty awesome, actually. You know, maybe a Lineage, not Lineage, Mu Legend style, Diablo style, Path of Exile style mobile RPG could be really fun. ARPG, I think, would work really well on mobile too.
You know what's funny? I actually thought of Diablo 3 when I watched that BDO mobile gameplay trailer. I was thinking these numbers that come up when you swing, they look a lot like Diablo 3. So I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yep. So there's hope for mobile, guys. It's just, you know, right, we're still in the early innings, I think, of mobile gaming. You know, like we only recently got out of the Flappy Birds and the garbage tier arcade games into these games. Give it another few years, I think it's gonna hopefully get better.
Yeah, I think it will, but I don't know if mobile. I don't think PC will get better. I think it's at least in MMORPGs. I think the zeitgeist has moved to other genres. We'll see.
All right, let's talk a little about Overwatch, the controversy there. Oh, we talk about Lootbox as well.
There's
we talk
a few
about that
controversies.
Guy Take it away.
Okay, I want to start with this one. I love it. So it seems like Blizzard now is banning people for picking a single hero. Okay, not for like trolling or trash talking or harassing people, but if you pick a hero, okay, and you don't want to change it, and your teammates are like, no, we don't need that, we need a healer, you can get banned for that, or at least suspended. And this controversy started with a Torbjorn main picker. Torbjorn.
Get it right.
Torbjorn picker.
Torbjorn.
Now, it turns out this guy was actually kind of being toxic. He was sitting in base, right? But other cases did come up, and Blizzard pretty much confirmed that they do suspend for this. I highlighted a few of their responses. I'll quote that. But playing as a team, which includes building an effective team composition, is a core part of the Overwatch experience. Sometimes that means switching off at your teammate's request. So you can read the full thing here. I don't want to, misquote anything, but it does seem like they are suspending just for one tricking or picking one character, regardless of what your teammates want or what works with the composition. Omar, what do you think of this?
As a one-trick player in basically every game I play, I don't like it. And now, look, I don't think we have the fact that that quote there very clearly tells me what I'm reading that is that one-tricking is bannable. Because when you're saying that playing as a team is a core part of the Overwatch experience, and that means switching off at your teammate's request, that is very, I don't like that. I hate that. Now, with the guy that got banned, the Torbjorn player, he created a shitstorm on the subreddit for Overwatch, and since deleted his post because he realized that, wait a minute, I'm fucked. Because some guy put a Twitch replay out showing that he just literally AFK'd in base when somebody picked Torbjorn. Yeah. And he just threw the game on purpose. So he got banned for that. He didn't get banned for one tricking, but when Blizzard comes out and publicly says, what it takes and what Overwatch is about, it really kind of makes the situation seem like they're going to ban you for one tricking. And in fact, there's actually this post. I want to show this one specifically. I think somebody appealed one of their bans, right? A 24-hour suspension. And I guess he appealed it. And this guy, Blizzard responded saying, "This is Game Master, blah, blah, blah. I understand your predicament and sympathize with you. The reports that you received are not because you were playing a particular character in competitive. They are there because of your refusal to cooperate with the rest of your team. Hence, the disruptive gameplay suspension. that means that you're picking a particular character, completely ignoring the rest of your team composition and the requests for people, and they cannot accommodate you to your playstyle, then the reports are justified, I'm afraid. They are saying outright that if you pick a specific character and you do not comply, and if you ignore the rest of your team composition and you don't comply with the requests of your team, that's a justifiable ban. For this reason, we are sadly not going to remove that 24-hour suspension on Overwatch. As a one-trick pony, I play Soldier 76 literally every single game. If you look at my Overwatch profile, I have over 100 hours on Soldier 76 and probably 1 or 2 hours on Lucio as my second most played. And after that, less than 1 hour on every other hero. And as a one-trick player in League of Legends, I play Singed every single game. I have over probably 1,000 Singed games and probably less than 20 on any other hero. As a one-trick player in Dota 2, I play Pudge every game. And as a one-trick player in Heroes of the Storm, I play Gazlo every single game. I hate it. It seems so counterproductive to ban for this. And I think it's awful. You can't ban someone who's playing to win just because they like playing a certain hero.
All right,
that's a no-go.
I'm gonna gaming red pill you right now, okay?
All right, give me the pills. Let's go. Give me that red pill.
This is what happens, okay? Here's the thing. This all started with the whole toxic thing. All right, Blizzard's like, okay, our games are going to be like for retards now, and like everything's cartoony now. So no more. You can't leave games. You can't say racist shit. You can't swear. Okay, if that's the mindset that you already yield to, if that's the kind of game you're gonna make, this is the inevitable consequence. If you say our games, nobody can have hurt feelings, nobody can be sad when they play our game ever online, then this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get this nonsense. Majority gets to tell the minority how to play. The majority gets to decide what is fair and what's not. And this is what's gonna happen. This is inevitable if you yield on the harassment stuff.
Look, I agree with you, and here's where I agree with you on. We had a pretty lengthy discussion in the past about whether you should ban leavers or griefers, right? People are intentionally throwing the game, and I think that's a justifiable ban, and you can impose those standards on the community. But when you start imposing the toxicity thing, toxicity is a very broad term, and disruptive behavior is a very broad term, and those words open Pandora's box to be able to basically let the majority fuck over the minority. In this case, it's clearly happening with Overwatch to a degree. Now, we don't know the context surrounding some of these specific cases, but based on the GM responses, it seems to me that they are specifically banning people who don't change characters.
Okay.
Now,
you make a distinction between banning.
Yes.
Okay. Now here's
definitely.
what I want you to talk about. Rather than look at Blizzard's specific reply in this story, I want you to outline for me Blizzard's philosophy when it comes to dealing with behavior. What is their current philosophy versus during the StarCraft 1, Diablo 2 days? Like, what? So, go ahead. I want to hear what you think their philosophy is.
I know what their philosophy is very clearly. They clearly want to create a positive experience for the majority of their players. And if that means if one guy plays Sombra only and it pisses off 5 people, even if they carry the game and that guy gets reported, he'll get banned because Blizzard wants to accommodate those 5 other people.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Rather than that one other person.
And what was it before?
Before they gave no fucks.
Well, yes. Now, which mode do you think fosters creativity and new genres? So, for example, in StarCraft 1, Warcraft 3, they said, "Look, here's our product. Do with it what you will." Okay, no. Everything is open.
False comparison.
Sky's the limit.
False dichotomy.
You can make a custom map called "Nazis Kill the Jews." You could do that, and you could have like peons that are just and the name of the peon is Jew, whatever. And like there's like a flamethrower unit that's like Hitler or whatever. I played games like that.
I'm pretty sure there was a game like that on both StarCraft and Warcraft.
Now, can you imagine that ever happening again in a Blizzard game? No, and that's why nothing creative will come out of Blizzard again.
That's not a fair comparison.
It is a fair comparison.
You're comparing remember when I talked about Game 2.0 and MMORPG 2.0, you're comparing a different style of game, right? I don't think there's any I don't think banning people for calling someone like like faggots and shit, right? That is not stifling any creativity.
It is.
There's no creativity being stifled by that at all.
It is.
Especially in the scheme of a game like Overwatch.
You're right. That specifically, okay, we're going to ban you for saying this. That is not stopping it, right? But the mindset that it takes, to want to enforce that. Like, if I make a game and I'm running a community and some guy says, some guy harasses someone or whatever, yeah, I wouldn't even think to that is my position to intervene there. But if my mindset now is, okay, I will intervene. I'm like a paternal figure, a maternal figure. I'm not going to allow anyone to play the way I don't want them to play, and no new ideas will form.
There is a distinction between banning players for purely throwing games or leaving games and griefing versus banning players for picking one hero who doesn't subscribe to the meta and is upsetting players. And look, to a degree, personally, I don't think it's Blizzard's or any gaming company's purview to ban toxic players in terms of just in terms of just basically saying mean things. But when you're literally disrupting the mechanics of the game by intentionally throwing, DCing, or doing some other bullshit, that's 100% bannable, and it should be banned. If somebody says mean things to you online, I'm A-okay with Blizzard just not giving a fuck, because that will not stifle any creativity, okay? If you ban people from throwing games, no creativity is being lost, and it's fine. And games have systems built in place to stop toxic behavior. It's called the mute feature, guys. The mute option is a remarkable feature, and it stops all toxicity online. Mute somebody, problem solved. Which is why these two things are not comparable. And I think Blizzard's stance on banning people for throwing games is perfectly fine, and I support that.
Okay, well then, guess what? You are feeding the mindset that is causing this. That's the banning one triggers. If the point is the majority are gonna have should feel safe spaced and have fun, right? If that's the goal.
It's not about safe space and fun. It's not about safe space and fun. It's about the game mechanics just not functioning. The game is designed around people not leaving. It's designed in a specific way, and when you throw that completely out the window, it just ruins the game. The game is just no longer what it was meant to be.
The
argument cannot be made for this.
That border between breaking the game and not playing it the way it's supposed to be, that is where all new ideas come from. Nothing good comes from just playing a game the way it's supposed to be played. That's like a monkey can do that. By breaking games, that's where you get new genres. You get new games.
How are you breaking games by let's say calling someone a faggot? Like how is that creating any new value?
You're not. The point is you're not impeding.
What part of just calling someone a scumbucket fag lord is going to create any kind of new value?
That's not my point.
I don't understand
the mentality.
So banning purely harassing behavior. I don't agree with. I don't think you have to do that, because again, people have their own tools, right? But I think doing that is irrelevant. It's not going to hurt the game that much anyway. They can waste their time doing that if they want to. I don't think it's going to create anything.
I think if you tell like a robot AI that's running Overwatch, okay, we're only going to ban for swear or racism, ban for racism. And that's it, right? If you tell the robot that, the robot can enforce that, and that's fine. But I'm saying a human, when you empower them with the mentality of now controlling and making sure everyone feels safe and happy in the zone, okay? They're gonna use it for things like this, banning people who play non-meta and stuff.
Well, that's the problem. Then you can fix that. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think you can fix that. I think it's like human nature. It's like forums. You give a mod power, they just start banning people for nothing. I think it's just human nature.
I agree with you that there is some overlap in the thought process of banning toxic players, right? People that say mean things, and banning players who play one hero. There is some. Yes. I can understand how a person tasked with cleaning up a game could just ban people for that as well. But that's a problem. You can address this issue. You can fix it. This is fixable. Games like League of Legends do not ban. Games like League of Legends, which by the way are much more successful and bigger than Overwatch, do not ban for one tricking, and they've never banned.
I think if League came out today, it would. First of all, if League came out today, guys, I think half the female characters would have way more clothes than they do now. It's kind of grandfathered, because
no, they keep adding new characters with bigger boobs.
Again, it's grandfathered. I'm telling you.
No,
they get the same. The people will be like, why are there no lesbians? Why are there no gays? Why is everyone naked? Like new games that come out are gonna
they can add more lesbian characters. They can add some gay characters. We got Tarek. We're fine.
I'm just saying, it's kind of League of Legends has a kind of a grandfather factor. In StarCraft 1 today, in StarCraft 1, I can log into on the Battle.net launcher. I can go to Battle.net and start swearing and saying Negro, but nothing's gonna happen to me, okay? Because it's grandfathered in. Blizzard is not policing StarCraft 1 the same way they're policing Overwatch today, even though they're both Blizzard games, right?
But no, your grandfather argument makes no sense. League still gets new heroes with they just added a swimsuit skin for few. Look at this. You're telling me that? Hold the fuck up. Hold the front door. You tell me they just add. Look at the skin they just added to League of Legends. Are you kidding me?
Look,
this might be an official skin. Hold on. No, that's a bullshit skin. That's a fake skin.
I'm not clicking that.
Don't click on it.
I'm not clicking on that.
That's a custom skin.
Don't send me some nude skins, bro.
That was a custom skin.
I'm already banned once today for saying a bad word, so I don't want to get banned again.
Yeah, but my point is they add skins to League of Legends, which are still very they add characters that are very busty with that's fine. So
all right.
I don't think that's true at all. We still get characters. We're still going to get characters that are busty, that are waifu material. I don't think you.
I think a lot of new games are going to be under a lot of pressure. That's what I feel. I feel if you guys like these sexy lady characters, enjoy it while you can. All right, the SJWs are going to take them away from us.
I don't think so. I think we're still going to keep getting them. There's no problem there. But so look, if League can pull it off where they don't ban one-trick players and they ban toxic behavior, what's the problem? There's no fundamental problem there.
If you can find a supreme logical AI to do that, you're right. But like I said, I think the mentality is what the problem is.
I think one of the reasons that League is successful and Dota is not, Dota is successful. I say one of the reasons League is more successful, League is more waifus, all right? Look at all the honeys in League, all right? Look at the honeys in Dota 2. What do you got in Dota 2? You got Lina. You get Crystal Maiden. That's it. Those are all the honeys, all right? What's left over? Nothing. All right? You got League, you got so many honeys. You got so much more Rule 34 material for League of Legends.
I do agree that the general overall aesthetic of the characters is not just because they're sexy, but like just they look better.
Because they're sexy.
Outside the sexiness, they look better, I think. Because I think so much. By the way, every hero in Dota, except for 3, were actually original Warcraft 3 units. So the aesthetic doesn't really match, if that makes sense. Like they're just random, like different 4 different races. Because Warcraft 3 had undead, orc, humans, and night elves. So the aesthetic doesn't match as well as a game that was made from the ground up with a single art style.
True. I have to show you Evelyn's rework in League of Legends. Are you telling me that the SJWs are going to ruin League of Legends?
I mean, look, I'm agreeing with you right now. Overwatch does have revealing female characters. I get that, but I'm saying if it was being promoted as a new product today, like it was being hyped, they got the streamers to view it. All like if it was being made under today's, zeitgeist, I think it would come under more pressure than it did back then.
Look at the image I just linked in Twitch chat. All right, this is Evelyn's rework model. All right, and she like seduces you.
I could be wrong about this, guys. I'm not. This is not like This is not a point I'm willing to die on, but like I do think you're gonna get some of that.
So I think I don't think we're gonna. I think League is still gonna have the honeys and the waifus, and I don't think any SHW is gonna ruin it. I do think we'll get more like gay characters and stuff like that, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. Like who cares, right? They're like a trans character or something. No skin off my back if it like fits the lore and it makes sense, and it makes sense within the context of the game. I don't give a shit. I'm not offended by that. Like who cares if a character is gay or they're lesbians or something else? Like whatever.
Well, time will tell, guys. Time will tell. I do think we're gonna get more.
Let's talk about loot boxes, all right? Loot boxes have been a point of contention for this last week. And we had a pretty interesting discussion in the pregame as well.
Do you want to start off with the EA thing?
Yeah. Start with the EA thing. Why not?
Okay, so I don't have the details. I think you read more about it than I did. But basically, people were very upset with Electronic Arts for the Star Wars Battlefront 2 microtransaction model. And EA tried to defend themselves on Reddit. And it became... That defense Reddit post became the most downvoted story in Reddit history. So that's pretty.
That's impressive.
And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I thought it was just autists screeching about nothing, but they actually got results. So not what they wanted exactly, but EA did EA did make changes because of that feedback. So it did work.
Okay, so the problem was that in order to unlock Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, right? The two most sought after characters in Star Wars history. Like when you're playing a Star Wars game, you want to play as the two like most renowned characters, Darth Vader or Luke. You have to play the game either for $400 or spend like $200 on a loot box or some shit to unlock the content. You have to spend like lots of money to unlock the content, and that pissed off a lot of players. So you couldn't you bought the collector's edition, you bought whatever you want. There was no way to get that for free within the game, and I think this is a community of players just showing their frustration, because I think Lootbox as a whole, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with them, but the problem is when you lock too much gameplay stuff behind Lootboxes and microtransactions, period. I think Overwatch is a great example of a game that handles lockboxes really, really well. You spend $30, you get Overwatch, you get all the heroes, all the maps, everything, right? And the only thing that's in Lootbox are cosmetics, not gameplay related stuff. So that works really, really well. So but when you start putting core game content behind paywalls, people get pissed off. And I think what happened on Battlefront 2 is actually really good for the gaming industry. It sent a message. I mean, again, the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. It shows that players are frustrated with this, and players did cancel pre-orders like in mass. Like maybe not enough to impact EA's bottom line, but probably tens of thousands of people canceled pre-orders, maybe more. And that sends a message to EA that okay, we have to do a better balance between what we can get away with. You can't go too greed on the loot box and microtransactions. There's got to be a balance. Then what players will accept what's going to happen. And the fact that we got a result, I think, is amazing. Usually it is, like you said, autistic screeching, where people complain and nothing happens. But something actually did happen this time, so God bless.
You know what I find funny about this story? First of all, EA, when they left a comment, they received 81 Reddit Gold purchases or gifts. So who is the guy out there who's
defending EA over here?
No, not even defending, but like who bought an EA paid account? Like the guy running the EA community team Reddit account is a paid employee of EA. Which 81 people thought it was a good idea to buy that person Reddit Gold? I don't get it, but it's funny.
They're the guys that like microtransactions, right? They're really pro microtransaction and every which way. But look, I do want to say, I actually do like microtransactions in a lot of games, right? And I do want to say there's a positive aspect of microtransactions I feel like nobody really talks about. And I do think that there's a sense of like randomness, RNG, and discovery. Like when I play Overwatch, like for me at least, I don't really particularly like, oh my god, I gotta get the skin, right? Like I'm not dying to get a skin. In fact, if Overwatch had no loot boxes and every time you played a game, you get like currency, right? You use that currency to unlock whatever skins you want. Let's say the same price in the store, right? I actually would not like that at all. There's a weird sense of like RNG gambling mechanic that actually makes rolling for a character more fun than buying the character outright, for me at least. Because again, I don't particularly, I'm not dying to get a skin or a character in Overwatch or cosmetic. So the RNG mechanic actually makes it more fun for me. Like I enjoy the process of rolling just to test my luck. I mean, I might roll high, I might get good skins. It makes it more fun for me because I'm not the addict that's going to spend tons of money anyway. So maybe obviously you can make the argument that it also preys on people's.
First of all, you can have rolls without money involved. Like it can be in-game currency. It can be like loot drops from monsters. But anyway, before we get there, I want to talk really quick about this whole. It takes 40 hours to unlock a character thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Like, here's I got a silver bullet in the chamber. Okay, ready? I'm gonna load my silver bullet. Do you guys remember Star Wars Galaxies? I know there's at least one guy in this chat here who's a big fan. But in Star Wars Galaxies, first of all, I walked into a store, I bought it. Okay, I think it was like $50 or something. Then I had to subscribe every month at a fee, $15 a month a fee. And that game, it took hundreds of hours to become a Jedi. Okay, hundreds of hours, maybe more.
That's true, actually.
So,
actually pretty remarkable.
What are you whining about? So you buy a game, Star Wars, you play online, or Star Wars Battlefront. Okay, it takes you 40 hours to get, to be a character. Who gives a shit? Deal with it. What do you want? Like, don't play if you don't want it. Like, it's just one character. Like, I don't know.
Saying that's an MMO. Problem. It's different.
It's not different. It's not. Well, by the way, a lot of games are trying to go more MMO. Like, EA is obviously trying to incorporate more persistence, more progression in their games, including especially their online.
The argument is that here's the argument that is different. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with this argument, but I can understand why you make the distinction. The distinction is that in a game like Battlefront 2, what characters you have access to matters for game balance, right? Somebody who might have Darth Vader could be just objectively more powerful than somebody who doesn't have Darth Vader.
Okay,
whereas an MMO,
same thing.
Yes, a Jedi is arguably much stronger than any other character class in an MMO. But Star Wars Galaxy did not have open world PvP, if I remember correctly. Did you just PK anyone anywhere?
Yeah, you can. No, you can. There was open PvP.
Okay, if there's open PvP, there's no difference then.
It did. There was definitely open PvP, especially the faction based. Like, guilds could go to battle, and then if you were Rebel versus Empire, there was a whole bunch of. It was very asymmetrical.
I don't remember the PvP in Star Wars. I remember duels we had.
No, there was the open factional stuff.
But no, it was optional. You had to change your faction settings to do it. You had to actually enable that, right? So whereas a game like Battlefront 2 is literally all PvP like Battlefield. You're literally playing a shooter, and having access to all the characters, I can understand being more important.
No. It's not. First of all,
but also,
the biggest cancer of multiplayer gaming is this pursuit of balance. I think asymmetrical gameplay is a beautiful aspect of gameplay.
That's true as well. Also, what about this argument that here's another argument that this is not that big of a deal. And I do think they had to. I do think it was a mistake for EA to do this because I think they should have went the Overwatch route and used cosmetics for microtransactions and not put gameplay stuff behind that shit because that pisses players off like no tomorrow. League of Legends gets away with this, which is remarkable to me. League of Legends, as is, in order to unlock all the heroes in League of Legends, all the champions, you have to spend probably over 1,000 hours in the game to unlock all the champions, and if maybe even more. You can't even buy the game up front and get all the heroes. Like you can't buy a collector's edition and get all the heroes in the game for free. You have to literally either spend thousands of hours playing League of Legends or thousands of dollars unlocking all the heroes.
Yeah.
And arguably, it's a gameplay mechanic as well. If somebody has access to a hero, you don't, you are literally playing at a disadvantage. The most successful PC game in the world, and one of the most successful PC games in the world, period, is League of Legends. That makes over $1.8 billion a year, and it's completely pay to win if you look at it from that angle, where heroes and stuff are literally behind paywalls. So why is it that, LoL is free, you're right, but it's still paywalls over there too.
But does Battlefront have single-player content? I'm pretty sure it's got some campaign content what you're paying for. So in that case, this whole it's free, it's not free goes out the window. It's kind of like StarCraft 2. The box buys you the campaigns, whereas the multiplayer is free. So
you could look at it that way as well. You know?
Yeah.
But you can't have the distinction of buying just the multiplayer too. Then, whereas in League you can just try the game out.
Yeah,
so that's a fair point. League there's no entry fee for League of Legends, so they can get away with more stuff.
I bet you so many players who buy Battlefront 2 are not even going to play online. They're just buying it for the single player experience.
You're probably right, actually. I feel we also kind of misjudge that a lot. You know, multiplayer is important to us as PC gamers mostly, but I'm sure a lot of people play all the new Call of Duties just for the story. They don't even play online.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't buy this whole this costs money. League is free. League gets a super pass, but this game doesn't. I don't buy that because they're off. You know, it's a different.
But why does it get a pass for being what you know?
I don't give it a pass. I'm just saying I've been hearing that in the chat.
Yeah, it does get a pass as well, but I don't think it's a fair distinction either. Like, if they can get away with it just because the game is free, like, it's still very pay to win. Because look, there's over 100 heroes, and it would cost you thousands of dollars to unlock all of them. You could say unlocking one hero will cost you like $10, right? Or playing the game for like 10 hours, 10 hours, right? However long it takes to get the 7,900 IP, or Blue Essence now it's called. It can take a long time to unlock a single hero, but you have to unlock all the heroes if you want to be on an equal footing with somebody else. If somebody's drafting a team, and you don't have access to all the heroes for your draft and your counter picks, you are playing at a material disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely. Which is interesting because, as someone said in chat, Dota's probably super fair. Dota's like Path of Exile. Actually, even fairer than Path of Exile. At least Path of Exile sells inventory slots.
0-1. It gets a pass because they owe you nothing. That's an interesting perspective. Spoilers for you. EA owes you nothing. You buy their game on their terms. You buy the game for $60, and they could put a microtransaction for online play. You want to play online? Another $100 you want to play online. They owe you nothing, buddy. Spoilers. They owe you nothing. Nobody owes you anything. That's their product. They can sell it for whatever they want. So this idea that, look, I hate to be the one defending EA over here too, because I don't want to.
I converted you, baby.
I think they made a dumb decision. Period. Right? I think they could have made more money and by being better with the consumer. They followed the Overwatch model of only selling cosmetics and loot boxes. It'd be way smarter for them. However, I do agree that they don't fundamentally owe you, the player, anything. It's their product, and they can sell the product to you at the price that they want, and you as a consumer have an option. Either buy the product or don't buy the product. And ultimately, the products we get in the marketplace is almost like a compromise between what players are willing to shell out for and what developers want to get. Ultimately, the developer wants to nickel and dime you for every penny you have. If EA or Blizzard could get away with charging $10,000 for their game, they would love to do it. And you, as the consumer, would love to pay 1 penny or nothing to get all the content. We players want everything for free. Developers want to give away nothing for free. And ultimately, where we meet in the middle is called equilibrium. It's an economics term right in the middle between supply and demand. It's an equilibrium.
But I think it goes broader than that. I think people don't know what they want or what they're willing to pay for. I'll give you an example. Path of Exile is free. You can pay for extra bank stashes. Okay, so think Diablo 2. Okay.
Yep. Now
I've done it 3 times. I spent $60 on Path of Exile on bank space. Okay, stash space. Now stash space, there was no way to buy more of it in Diablo 2. What you have to do is make more characters and more accounts as mules. I could have just done that with Path of Exile. Like I could have just made free. The game is free too. Like I could have just made free accounts to hold my shit, but I didn't. I was willing to pay for that very slight convenience. But if Path of Exile cost $60 up front, and there was like, plenty of bank space, maybe I wouldn't have bought it. Maybe I would have waited till like a sale for $5 or something. I probably would not have paid that $60 up front. But they got me. They reeled me in slowly. So I don't think people know what they want. And it shows, how well mobile games are doing. People are spending money.
We're seeing Lootbox in Guild Wars 2. We're seeing the Smite. We've seen League of Legends now. Lootbox are making their way everywhere. I know. This week, Lootbox have been a pretty touchy issue because Jim Sterling doubled down on the fact that he hates loot boxes, and he blames Overwatch for basically normalizing and creating a trend for loot boxes here in the West. How do you feel about that? Should Overwatch be blamed for normalizing loot boxes in games?
No. I think it goes back much further than Overwatch. Maybe he's saying Overwatch made it popular for big Western studios, but if you look at the money, if you follow the money has been in Asia, East Asia. In gaming for a long time now, and they've been doing loot boxes and gotchas, and fail to upgrade your +9 to +10 equipment so it breaks and you got to spend another $1,000. They've been doing that for years in Asia, and that's where the money has been. So if anything, I think the big Western studios are actually behind the curve on this. So
Yeah,
in no
that's
way
fair.
that in no way that in no way are any of the big Western studios pioneering this. They're playing catch up.
That's true as well. And again, somebody brought up comparing casinos about companies owing us anything. Again, that's a much more broader issue about regulation and what governments can and should do. But that's when you strictly deal with RNG mechanics, you can maybe make an argument that companies should tell us what the rates are. You know, they can maybe make a law to tell us what. In China, for example, for loot boxes, they're required to disclose what the drop rates are. They're allowed to make drop rates whatever the fuck they want, right? But they have to tell you what they are. So I could see that happening here in the West, but I don't think it's still that's the limit to the regulation you can do with regulating these companies. But if they want to charge a microtransaction for whatever they want, you can do that without loot boxes as well. You can you could sell a game and then charge money for online play. And in fact, you can even make it so every time you play an online match, they charge you 10 cents. You know, they can make it almost like a per coin model if they wanted to. So that doesn't really restrict microtransactions at all.
I got a question, guys. Were arcades really just the first microtransaction games?
Ooh, they were. I guess those were microtransactions. Every time you put money in,
Yeah.
it's a microtransaction. That's fair. Yeah, loot boxes are here to stay. Again, we're seeing it in so many games now. Even like Guild Wars 2, which people thought would never have loot boxes and stuff. They're adding it. So many games are gonna be adding loot boxes to their game, and if done well, I really don't think it's a problem. The keyword is done well. Do the Overwatch model. Make it fair. Don't put only skins in there. Don't put gameplay related stuff back behind the loot box. And I think people aren't going to complain. Well, some people will always complain, right? But I don't think it's going to change the game too much.
Actually, speaking of League and how it's now it's considered an older game. Didn't they, besides redoing the runes and masteries, didn't they also kind of introduce like this loot box system as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you level up, you get a loot box now.
And there's no limit to leveling anymore. It's not 30.
No.
And you just keep getting. So it's like Overwatch almost.
Yeah, so you can buy loot boxes now to get, like, before. It's amazing actually. You get to buy your skins outright, right? You have to buy the skins you wanted in the game store for cash, right points. Now you have to buy loot boxes for them. There are certain skins you can only get from loot boxes, right? You can still buy all a lot of existing skins from the regular cash shop, but they're so smart now because they released rare skins and you can only get in loot boxes. People are going to be buying loot boxes like crazy. It's a brilliant idea on their part.
Indeed. Actually, going back to Star Wars real quick, guys. All right. I think this will make you guys even madder, but here we go. Don't you think having to spend 40 hours to unlock Luke or Darth Vader, to me that's kind of a plus. Like why do you want to have everything the day you pay for it? Like like in Path of Exile, if somebody gave me the best gear possible, right? And I could just face roll everything. I'd play it for like an hour and then I'd quit. Like what am I at that point? What am I supposed to do? So I think the fact that you have aspirational, like some goal, like okay,
that's not
I'm saving for Luke. I think that's a great content.
No, hold on. It depends on if you're playing a shooter like Battlefront 2, where it's literally a competitive multiplayer game.
No, it's a campaign. It's a campaign, baby. You just because, and that's the worst thing. You're making you should if you want to take it competitively and seriously, that's on you. The game is for fun. That's what it's for.
Look, it can be done correctly with unlockable content, weapons, and stuff like that. I think Battlefield has that. A lot of shooting games have that, and that's fine. But I can understand the frustration of players when you lock marquee characters like Luke and Darth Vader behind a paywall. And look, with games like Battlefront, I would actually say most people play those games for online play. There are not every game people play online, right? But I would say games like Battlefield and all the Battlefield games, people play mostly online.
Let me put it this way. Okay, so I played the Battlefield series, which Battlefront is built on from the start, 1942. Okay, Battlefield 1942. Now, there were some games I played, shooters, specifically to be on the top of the frag list. Games like Quake, Unreal, right? You want it to be top dog. But I never really played Battlefield 1942 just to have the most kills, okay? The experience of exploring those levels, going to quirky like places where people don't expect me, the vehicles, the airplanes, running people over with a Jeep for fun, like seeing how many people I can kill with the Jeep. It was so much bigger than a frag list. So the fact that the fact that different characters have different I guess stats or affects gameplay, like I think that's fine.
All right, hold on. I think the good point was just made in chat. I'm curious how you feel about this. Tam Crude and Bins Money just said if you had to unlock Darth Vader for 40 hours of gameplay, nobody has a problem with that.
Okay.
Provided you couldn't pay your way to it. That seems to be the problem. So you can't. Your example with Star Wars Galaxies doesn't make sense because you had to unlock Jedi after playing months of the game hardcore.
Well,
but there was no way to pay money to unlock it.
Sure, there was. It's called it was like
Buying an account.
Yeah, buying an account. Yeah.
But that was to the gray market. You know, there was the black market. The developer itself didn't sell it to you.
Okay.
Now the problem seems to be a perceived sense of fairness.
Okay, but here's the thing. They got to make money. This is the thing. This is how it's like you want to go to a club with your friends, all right? You want to go to the cool nightclub. It's called Jade, all right? You want to go to Jade. Jade
sounds pretty cool.
Jade opens at midnight, all right? You get there at midnight with your posse. You and your posse. But guess what? There's already 100 people waiting in line already. So now you got to go back of the line, baby. Okay? And you wait. You wait to get in. Or, you know what you can do? There's a second line. Yeah, the VIP line. If you're willing to buy like a table and a bottle service, you pay $2,000 for the bottle of vodka that costs $10, down the street. That's life, guys. I don't know where like the standard you're applying to these games exists nowhere else in life. So I don't know why you feel like
that's actually a fair point. I agree with you there. The standard that gamers are applying doesn't exist anywhere else in life. So I think your nightclub example makes sense.
Boom.
Because the idea that you can pay your way to better, greater and better things exists in every facet of life. Mm-hmm. Just what's the problem with that comparison? I'm curious.
Wash dishes for 40 hours to get into the club. That'd be so funny.
You're the. I mean, ultimately, look. Here's what it comes down to. Like, there is this sense of unfairness, but I think people have to realize that video games are business. Okay. Battlefront 2 exists solely for one reason. It's not to entertain you. It exists for one and only one reason, is to make money. Okay? EA exists to make money. Blizzard exists to make money. All our favorite game companies provide the non-profits, but I don't know any non-profit game company that any of us have ever heard of. They exist to make money. And they're going to make stuff like microtransactions to make money. And we as players want one thing. We want to be able to get the most content. We want the most gameplay for free. We want to pay as little as possible for the most content. Again, back to my equilibrium discussion. Game developers want everything for the most money. Players want everything for the least money. So I understand why we want.
Hold up. I contest that. I think there are a lot of players who want to play Darth Vader, right? Who don't have the time, but they have the money. These guys, these are lawyers who work 80 hours a week or whatever. So it's just two ways of paying for the same content: time or money. So I don't think people want everything for zero. I think some people are willing to pay, and they don't want to unlock it in game. I think it's equally bad to say guess what, Mr. Lawyer, you can never get to play Darth Vader because it takes 40 hours and there's no way to pay for it. And if you try buying it from someone else, would ban your account. Okay, that guy can never play it then. So why is it different that guy can never play it versus you can never play it because you don't want to work, you don't want to wash dishes at McDonald's for 2 hours so you can buy the damn game.
That's a good point. Again, people seem to be complaining that people that can pay their way to it is unfair. But you did make we talked about lots of MMORPGs that pay to win as well. If someone can pay real life money, like if he doesn't have 40 hours to grind, I think everyone's basically okay that if it spends 40 hours to unlock it, everyone's usually okay with that.
Yeah.
But they're not okay with paying your way to it.
Yeah. But some people got to pay the mortgage. They got to pay the car payment. They got to pay for their kids. They got to pay for their wife who's buying all these handbags for $1,000.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about fairness goes. If you want to make a game fair, like everyone has their own different perception of fairness. Mm-hmm. Again, if you have 10 hours a day to blow playing video games, and this guy's got to work 8 hours a day, he sleeps 8 hours a day, he commutes 2 hours. He's got 2 hours of his own free time, and that's it.
Yeah, and so if you read the comments, the sentiment seems to be then don't play the game if you don't have the time. But why is that any more valid than me saying, well, don't play the game if you don't have the money?
Yeah, that's literally no different than don't play the game if you can't afford it. Yeah. Or deal with it, punk. Go get a job. My point is, I don't want to defend either argument. The point is, I think either argument, they're both equally fair arguments.
Yeah.
And I can understand from one perspective you feel that way, but I can also understand the perspective of the guy who works all day. I understand. Look, he wants to play Darth Vader. He doesn't have 8 hours. He would love to play this game 10 hours a day, but he doesn't have the time. And you, as the player, maybe are okay with unlocking the content because you don't want to spend extra money. So I don't think there's anything. There's nothing morally wrong. I think EA is doing it right here. The problem is, I personally they made a bad business. They made a bad business decision. That's what I think. Because I think if they just made all this stuff available for free and just charge money for cosmetics, it would piss off less players. They'd get more sales.
Yeah.
I think they made a bad business decision. However, I don't think they did anything fundamentally morally wrong.
I think they made a bad PR decisions here. They handled this very poorly. There are lots of games that are very popular that are more pay to win than Battlefront 2, even as it was originally built. And yet people, they seem to be doing fine.
And it's paid. We're pay to win apologists now. I don't know. Again, I think people want games for as little as possible. Developers want as much money as possible. I mean, if you ultimately, we the players are always to blame as well. Okay, look, if you don't like the direction games are going, don't buy the games that do the shit you don't like. It's simple as that. And what the reality is, the microtransactions and pay to win is what people want. That's a fact of life. And here's why: people are spending money on it, right? Don't spend any money on this shit. It won't happen. If there's no money to be made in microtransactions, if a game developer thinks, oh shit, if we add loot boxes, nobody's gonna buy our games anymore. Spoilers, they're never gonna make a loot box game. The fact that they're doing it tells us that people are willing to spend money on it. And the problem is, when you start calling other people like, when you start insulting other people how they spend their money, you're not being productive. You're just being an asshole. All right.
I think ultimately, guys, look, as gaming evolves and becomes more, as the internet grows, right? Basically, what's happening is gaming and the real world are meshing together. So in the past, there was no way to really pay for stuff in game. Now, US dollars is just another currency in most games, right? This is only going to get bigger. So I think you guys, we need to all find a way to have our own fun in a game. So if that means being this shitty stormtrooper with like a 20% hit rate, okay, that's another thing. I would love to play a Battlefront game, where there's like 100 stormtroopers versus like 2 Jedis, right? And like the stormtroopers are like the Ricky Dicky, free to play players, and they miss like 90% of their shots, but they gotta like work together against the 2 paying Jedi. That'd be so cool. Like, so there's so much room for asymmetrical gameplay like this, where the payers are motivated to keep paying because they keep getting overwhelmed by the free players, and the free players have to be smart and nimble and quick with their mouse to overcome the payers. There's so many opportunities that don't just say no money. It has to be pure.
No. And actually, there's something said too about if you imagine you're playing like Battlefront 5, okay, in the future where it's exactly described. You're playing your default free to play character is a stormtrooper that's like a 10% hit rate. You do 1/10 of damage as a fucking elite rebel fighter, right? And he just does 10 times more damage. And imagine he spent $1,000 on that character. You spent nothing, right? If you kick his ass as a fucking gimp ass stormtrooper and he's got this pay to win character, you can make fun of this guy all day. What a fucking idiot! He spent $1,000 and he still sucks dick. Like, he's an opportunity, Yeah,
Tim
I would love to destroy some kid who spends money on a game with a free to play like character with trash tier. It'd be an amazing feeling.
So I think we just explained why the stormtroopers have shit aim in the movies. They didn't buy the loot boxes.
There you go.
All right. Well, with that, guys, we are out of time. We are out of time. But
let's take one more thing here.
Okay, go. All right, last thing. Let's go.
All right, last bit. We are running out of time for the YouTube show though, but we'll continue the post game as well. But ultimately, I do want to say people have to vote with their wallet, right? If you don't like what you see in a game, you have to be willing to just not buy the game. And but here's the reality I think people are denying. There is a reality that most of us gamers on Reddit and the vocal gamers on Discord, we're all missing something. And it's bizarre. It's amazing that everyone's missing this. The reality is people are willing to pay for pay to win. And it's not just some people, the majority. The fact is that people that are crying about pay to win or calling us pay to win apologists, look, I don't like pay to win either, but I realize something. I realize we are the minority. The people kicking and screaming about pay to win, about microtransactions, we are the minority. And that's just a close minority. We are a tiny minority. The fact that every game that adds the pay to win games make a shit ton of money, and that's they have a lot of players. People are willing to pay and play these games. So that's the business model that works. And it does provide joy to some people, like Altai was saying about the guy who can't afford to spend 40 hours grinding a character is willing to pay money. It gives that guy enjoyment. Mm-hmm. So our frustrations are a minority of the joy and other benefits this creates. Again, I don't like this shit either, but I recognize I'm the minority. And I feel like people that are complaining about this have to realize that as well. And Reddit is an echo chamber of the more hardcore players. The casuals don't go on Reddit. They don't go on forums. They don't bitch. They just quietly buy the game and spend their money. That's the reality. And you can't call the guy who spends money a faggot. It's not going to fix the problem. That's just being an asshole. You as a player can determine the games you support. If people on Reddit, if the more hardcore community only supports games that do the business models they like, we're going to get more of those games. We're still going to pay to win games because a lot of people do like that shit.
I definitely think we should do what we can to push for what I said, asymmetrical gameplay. So swarms of free players, versus a minority of much more powerful characters. I think that's the only way to accommodate this, where both people feel satisfied. The payers can pay, and the free players can swarm and use tactics to overwhelm. But that's hopefully we'll see a game like that. I don't know if we will or not. But incidentally, It was games. It was engines like Warcraft 3 that gave us games like that. You know, Island Defense, Cat vs Mouse, those Vampirism, those old War 3 custom maps. Really, I think did a great job with that kind of asymmetrical gameplay.
Hardcore gamers need to make games that are fair and more profitable for game developers. And we have to buy and support the games that follow fair business practices as we view them. Otherwise, the only route is going to be this other stuff.
Right. Well, we can.
I don't consider myself. I call out pay to win when I see it, you know. I don't support those games, but it's the reality. I like pay to win. Somebody says, but we have to realize that these games exist to make money, and you know the best we can do is vote with our wallets. You know that's the only thing in our control.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call it, guys. So stick around for the post game. Well, I'm sure we'll find a lot more to yell about. Yep. Take care, YouTube. Catch us
Always
live.
stuff to yell about. All right. I love yelling about things.
All right. Take it easy.